Hi everyone, welcome to a brand new Pivot webinar. Today we're going to show you how the Pivot platform can help educators design courses that are clear, interactive, and easy to manage. We'll cover how to set up your course space, assign and grade student work, keep engagement high, and track progress. First, let's review the agenda for today. The first section is called Course Design, Problem and Solution. Then, managing structure at the institution level. Next, we'll cover building your course space inside Pivot. Then we'll have a quick Q&A section. And lastly, some closing remarks. So let's jump in. Let's start with the problem. Most element platforms weren't built for how teachers actually work or how students actually learn. Educators end up stuck with static course shells, clunky dashboards, and a maze of tabs just to assign or grade something. And for students, it's even worse. They are jumping between apps just to ask a question, digging through threads to find instructions, and often waiting days just to get feedback. Pivot simplifies that. It brings your structure, content, communication, and grading into one place. So the course actually feels like a course and not a scavenger hunt. Everything we showed today is about making that experience cleaner, faster, and easier to manage. When you're running a school, a university, or any educational institution, you're not just managing content, you're managing people, permissions, security, and structure. Pivot gives you the control to do all of that through organizations. Think of your organization as the administrative layer for your entire institution, is where you can oversee everything: who has access to what, how spaces are created, and which tools are integrated across your teaching environments. Here's how it works. Admin roles are tiered. So we have the owner, who manages everything: billing, security, integrations, even domain level controls. The admin, who can manage users, assign roles, and create and manage spaces. And viewer, who has read only access to settings and member lists. Spaces represent department, courses, or programs. You can assign spaces to specific faculty, teaching teams, or groups of students. Each space is private by default and can be configured for the audience it serves. The best practice is to create a separate space for each course to keep materials, conversations, and permissions easy to manage. Groups make it easy to target access. You can separate, for example, undergraduate students or assigning teacher assistants to specific departments by building groups and managing their visibility across the content. Security features of organization include restricting space creation to admins, limiting invitations to pre-approved users, adding custom domains and enforcing login through SAML, SSO, and Pivot also supports external integrations and secure API key management, giving IT admins the control they need to scale operations safely. Let's walk you through what it looks like to actually build your course inside Pivot. Your course starts with a space. So the first thing you'll do is create a space. Think of a space as your course home base. Everything lives inside it: your content, assignments, resources, and conversations. You just have to open the space and everything's there. You don't need to jump between platforms. Once your space is created, you'll start organizing your material using pages. Each page can represent a module, a unit, or even a single class session. It's flexible depending on how you like to teach. You can structure them however you want. For example, week 1, week 2, or introduction, practice, review. It's up to you. Inside each page, you can nest content as deeply as you need. For example, under week 2, you might have a reading guide, a short video, and a written assignment. all clearly stacked in order so students always know what to do next. And of course, you can upload media directly: PDFs, lecture videos, slide decks, even external links. Every piece of your curriculum stays in contact where it belongs. The goal here is simple. Instead of handing students a pile of links and hoping they find their way, you're giving them a structured path, one that's easy to follow and easy to maintain. Next, we have assignment: build and deliver tasks. Once your course structure is in place, it's time to assign actual tasks, and Pivot makes this part simple but powerful. So let's start with the assignment block. You can create assignments for anything: a written essay, a group project, a quiz, or even a multimedia submission. Just drop in a title, instructions, and set the due date. Students will see everything in context right inside the course space. If the assignment has a due date, submission close when the deadline passes. Next, let's talk about grading. You can attach a rubric directly to the assignment. This gives students a clear view of how they will be evaluated before they even begin. You can customize your own rubric with specific criteria, point values, and descriptions that match your academic standard: a performance scales, a letter grade, or GPA based. Everything is visible to the students before they submit, and everything is accessible to you when it's time to assess. Next, communications, announcements, and discussions in post rooms. One of the biggest challenges in any course, especially online, is keeping students engaged. Pivot gives you a few built in ways to keep the communication flowing without overwhelming anyone. First, there's the post room. This is great for asynchronous discussion. You can post updates, prompts, or questions, and students can reply whenever it works for them. It's not a fast moving chat, it's structured so nothing gets buried and everything is in order and everyone has time to think before the answer. Now, if you do want some real time communication and interaction, you can start a video or audio room directly inside your course space. That room can be the classroom itself as well. You just open the room and students join from the same space where they access their materials. But you can also use it more flexibly. Maybe you want to do a quick Q&A before an exam, check-in or midweek, or host an optional review session. Since it's all built into Pivot, there's no switching tools or juggling tabs. It's just part of how the course runs. And finally, you can use forms for simple feedback or check ins. These are perfect for things like course reflections, topic preferences for the next module, or even wellness check ins during more intense periods for students. And you can create them in seconds and can also how the students are doing. Pivot gives you the flexible ways to stay in touch and keep the course feeling alive and active. Now let's talk about how to track progress in Pivot. You have a clean way to track progress. First, you can enable a full progress tracker inside a space or a page, whether it's a session, a module, or full project. At the top, you'll see a progress bar here that updates in real time based on page or block completion. As each linked element gets checked off, for example, a task, a resource, or an assignment, the progress bar reflects how much of the space or the page is done, tracking stages like to do, in progress, in review, and completed. Next, we have the Analytics tab. You can quickly see who's doing what inside your course space, which students are interactive with assignments, who's viewed as specific materials, and where engagement is dropping off. This allows you to assess participation patterns and spot who might need a nudge before they fall behind or where to strengthen material. And lastly, you also get a version history for every page block, which is super helpful if multiple educators are contributing or if you want to track how the course evolves across terms. You can review what changed, when, and by whom. This combination makes it easy to adapt, improve, and keep your course running smoothly based on real time behavior. In addition to the structured spaces for courses and assignments, Pivot also lets students create their own rooms out of spaces and start conversations. This is useful for things like informal study groups, project coordination, or just staying in touch throughout the term. Students can send messages, react with emojis, share files, and keep the conversation going without needing to leave the platform. They can just stay there and everything lives inside the same environment. It keeps their academic and social life in one place. Next, let's go to the Q&A section. First question says, can I combine live discussions with written assignments inside the same course? Yes. This is something that Pivot handles really well. You can embed an assignment block directly into a page and then link or attach a room to that same page. That way, students can read the lesson, ask questions, and submit their work all in one flow with no extra tabs. Next question says, how flexible is the assignment format? Can I create design creative tasks, not just quizzes or uploads? Absolutely. The assignment block lets students submit one or more attachments, so it could be a written essay, an audio reflection, or a video project. You can even assign work using other blocks inside Pivot. For example, you can have students create something on a canvas or submit a timeline inside a page. It's not limited to basic formats. And last question, can I assign different tasks to different groups inside the same course? Yes, you can. You can create groups within your space and assign different blocks, like a page, an assignment, or even a post room to specific groups. Each group sees only what's meant for them, which is great for differentiated instruction or project based learning. All right, that wraps it up. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're an educator or part of an institution looking for a simpler, more interactive way to manage courses, assignments, and engagement, Pivot was built with you in mind. You can try Pivot for your institution or review all our education capabilities to see what's possible. Links will be listed in the description below. See you next time.